Blessings. Welcome, beautiful starry family, light workers, teachers, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, human family of the world. We are so grateful that you're here with us to recode your reality with our special guest, Sandy Hart. And I will be introducing her very soon. But let's start with a meditation. And it's something that came through. The transmission came through this morning, and I wrote it out. And I just would like to take a moment to ground in together in this present time. So go ahead and close your eyes if you can, and take deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathing in positive love light energy. Breathing out any negative energy, anything that's standing in your way, any stagnant energy. As you breathe in, you feel the fullness of your body expanding. And as you exhale, releasing that contraction. You may even use some sounds if you'd like. Just letting it all go. Just feeling yourself in this present moment, dropping into your body, relaxing with each breath. Now let us visualize sacred geometric pattern, a fractal of rainbow love light. And as we walk up to this pattern, we start to see that it is a tunnel, and we enter the tunnel following this pattern of love, fractal bliss. And as we ascend, and it goes and it lifts us further up and up, raising our frequency and our vibration as we enter this tunnel. We can feel the movement of the universe around us, our body, our cellular macrocosms meeting the microcosms, and the microcosms meeting the macrocosms, moving in this spiral energy. We keep moving forward, we keep moving forward, we keep moving forward towards the light. And as we come to this stargate, this opening, this doorway, it opens for us so gracefully and easy. And as we enter through this portal, we see the one, we feel the one, we know the one, we hear the one. The one says, "Awaken, my children. Open your eyes to witness the truth unfold before you. You, my child, are perfect, happy, healthy, and whole. Your original state is complete, always and in all ways. You thrive in total perfection, surrounded by golden light, the abundance of creation, Sophia and Christ consciousness, creators, vision of Eden and heaven on earth. There's a fruitful place of beauty and grace and ease and love. There's compassion and joy and ecstasy, free from any pain or fear or grief, or hunger or violence. These energies no longer resonate. They no longer exist. These old ways and old paradigm thoughts and energy forms do not belong here. There is no place for them. Competition, bickering, fighting, selfishness, narcissism, they're all left behind. As we fold time and space together, moving from the 3D holographic matrix of slavery, experiences, thoughts, reactions, hurtful deeds no longer compute in the 5D world of no space, no time. All is infinite, all is abundant. Love, light, shining bright. Lack and hunger are things of the past. Heaven on earth, we co-create together now, the return to the upgraded Garden of Eden. When you woke up, you made that right turn, turning off the old timeline, while visioning and co-creating the new timeline. You did good, my children. One is thrilled that you made it here, so welcome, with open arms, welcome. As you begin to experience your new 5D light bodies, there are a few things you should know. We are all one. There is no more I, you, her, him, us, them. And yet, for simplicity's sake, in this moment, let us, until you truly embody that concept of one, I will explain things in this manner. As you speak this vision to your 3D bodies, you are the creator of the 5D world. You can make it whatever you choose. Imagine that you have an eternal stream of wishes to be granted, to create whatever one chooses. What would one create? You may choose from infinite possibilities, and even though there are no rules per se, one must always create with everyone and everything's highest and blessed good in mind. Oh, and this is not your mind. As that is a piece of meaty flesh in your 3D world, everything here is instantaneous. It is at your command. Here, let's make a few examples. Every person ever close to your heart suddenly resides in your heart within you. They stand beside you. Always, you are filled with love and gratitude for all of them, as the realization that you are never separate from them to begin with. You jump off the highest cliff ever to fly with your golden violet light wings. And in an instant, you arrive to the place that you desire most to be. As you gaze out upon your very favorite place, you wave your energy over it, and all the flowers bloom at once. You pick up the paintbrush and begin to add the details that you envision adding. You hear joyful laughter and music from miles away and decide to go there. You snap your fingers and arrive instantaneously. The point here is that there are no constraints the past timeline of 3D physics has dictated. In this fifth dimensional timeline, every experience can be womb manifested by its co-creators. Our limited 5 senses experienced in 3D matrix touch, sound, taste, sight, transform and expand into what was only called esoteric or woo-woo or magical, all beings capable of over 180 different senses: ESP, telepathy, clairvoyance, clairaudience, telekinesis. These are your new capabilities, and they are growing each and every day. You simply choose what resonates with you and then cultivate that talent. Yes, my children, it is all possible. Take my hand and come with me. Let me show you the way. There are certain steps that must be taken to ascend into this new dimension. Not everyone in the 3D will be granted this pass. Some things must be considered on this new pathway. We must learn impermanence. The only constant is change. We must drop into the core values of our human family and be at peace with our own purity of goodness. We must forgive ourselves and forgive others. We must exhibit compassion even in the face of adversity and not allow the dark forces of the 3D matrix to separate us any further. We must understand we are all one. We affect each and every piece. We must be loving first to ourselves and then to those around us. We must connect with our higher truth and not allow fear to take us over. Just believe, have faith in our innate goodness. We must believe in abundance for all, that everyone and everything can be cared for in all ways, for all ways. We must be willing to let go of ideas and concepts that have been drilled into us since birth. We must let them crumble away, and anything attached to them will be revealed for the illusion that it is, as the truth is illuminated. Here, there is work to be done, my children. Please don't fall into slumber now. Please, If you experience sadness, hurt, or the like, reach out to your starry family for help. We are all here going through this to get here together. No one says it will be easy. There will be pain, there will be suffering, and you can make a choice. You can practice the things that make you happy, that light you up, that bring you ecstasy. It just depends on how you look at it. You are all birthing a new world, and birth can be messy, painful, bloody, and difficult. And yet, when the child is in your arms and you experience that sheer unconditional love, it is all worth it. Surrender, release, breathe, let go. Let go and ride the holy roller coaster, children. Let's do this together, together as one. You visualize that sacred geometry matrix coming to you again. That portal and doorway that brought us to the fifth dimension, where we were held by the mother, by the father, by creator itself, by one. And bring that energy of love and compassion and joy with you through that Stargate Matrix portal, back into your 3D body, sitting in the room that you're in this moment. Feeling the floor beneath you. Feeling Mother Earth beneath that. Let us ground that energy. Let us make it real here, creating heaven on earth together, family. And let us become present in this moment together so that we may enjoy the transmissions that our beautiful sister Sandy Hart has to share with us today. Her golden codes. Allow her to help us recode our reality. And with that, let us open our eyes and come present here to this moment again. Thank you so much, family. It is all possible. It is. We are moving into a time on this planet where nothing will ever be the same again. And we get to choose what we want it to be. We get to create that together. And Sandy has been such an inspiration for myself and my family and our community for so long. And it's such an honor to have her here today. And what I'd like to do is ask her first, darling, what would you like to share with us about your golden codes?
Oh, yes. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in with us. And thank you, Candace, so much for hosting this space and opening us up such a beautiful 5D portal invitation. Wow. So, golden codes. These are the codes of the golden age. These are all the different intelligences and architecture that allow this modality to be an ascension and a healing technology. And this is expressed mainly in 3 parts. So first, there is a full galactic cleanup. Second is the filtration system, which is all the shielding and protection. And then third, we have the light body activation sequences. So starting with the first, it's really, really, really important, especially if you want to recode your reality. What does that even mean? And how does golden codes really benefit that? And what does that have to do with the 5D and embodying that? Well, first, we need to make room for those higher dimensional DNA codes to anchor in and root in our divine consciousness, making room, getting rid of all those stubborn patterns, limiting belief systems, human limitations that feel really real. These walls, the news, the what's going on, the government, and then we have, oh my God, this is so real, this holographic reality. It's just can cave in on you. And coming from lifetimes and lifetimes of dark age programming, year after year, lifetime after lifetime of having so many core wounds just piling up as a snowball, creating a karmic loop cycle with so many layers in between that hold different entities, different human emotions that create abandonment and fear and separation and attachment and scarcity and lack and feminine wounding, masculine wounding, patriarchal energies, and then martyrdom and reversals and just all sorts of contracts and agreements that just, it feels like we can't even breathe, we can't move, we're not suffering here.
Yeah.
And so the galactic cleanup is designed to be able to go into the different library systems that hold your human limitations in place. So for example, we go into the Akashik Records, which we all know, right? And then we have Halls of Amentai, miasmic records, holographic records, and then we have the galactic timelines, fields, templates, hidden portals, pocket realms, and parallel universes. So there's all these different dimensions and timelines that are playing simultaneously, just spinning around us, right? Because time doesn't really exist. So we have all these infinite realities that are all connected to us right here, that are hooked into our energetic field, our bodies, and all of our actions and reactions all at the same time. So what do we do? How do we recode that? So there's a whole removal process that takes place. And it's designed to be able to happen very efficiently, anywhere from hundreds to thousands of lifetimes at a time, depending on you, depending on your relationship with the Lords of Karma, depending on your higher self and whatever is best for you. We do as much as we can get away with, though. Okay, beautiful. So after we go into the core wounds, we have the library systems of different entities, library systems of different coded dark agendas that are literally coded in our subconscious. They're coded and chipped in, and we have these little subscriptions like, yes, I subscribe. So we're unsubscribing to all those patterns that keep us over here like that, and to liberate us. Do you have any questions before I go into the second segment?
Yeah, sure. So when you say, multiple timelines, some folks might be unfamiliar with what that might mean, and also the no space, no time concept.
Right. Right. So technically, for a long time never really truly existed. That has been adopted, and as we're stepping into the golden age 5D new earth, those timelines are all starting to collapse into pure consciousness instead of fragmented timelines that we've made up. And so I'm going to use the languaging of timelines so it can be understandable. So when we go into past lifetimes or these different imprints where we have little footprints at different times where we have betrayed another, been betrayed, or have played different roles, and creating karmic a bank account, negative and positive,
right.
It starts to store up. Any more questions around that?
I think I got that part. Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. And so after this process is completed, there's a lot of different light infusions and deep fragmentation, pulling out of the subconscious. Subconscious is really, really important to rewire in this process. So it's a big, big, big part of the release, and also bringing back soul parts and elements that have been given out, stolen, borrowed. We have DNA that's still inside of us from past lovers and beings from other timelines. There's also beings that have other star systems that are feeding off of their energy. So we want to unplug all of those old subscriptions. And then we go into the filtration system. So the multi-layer filtration system is designed to protect your field, but this is a permanent installation, as permanent as you choose it to be, though. So first we bring in the inner nucleus layer, and then we bring in the Hall of Mirrors. Hall of Mirrors make sure that all the frequencies stay out, known and unknown energies under the list of all the things that have been removed stay out. And if they do try to penetrate into your field, they will get stuck in the hall of mirrors. All that actually means is they're going to be facing themselves.
Yes.
Okay. So, and so after that is, we go into the more exciting part. We're going to be going into the liquid golden plasma light bodysuit.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been happening the last year, getting into some protection from those electromagnetic frequencies. We call some of them 5G, radiation, different types of EMF that is seeming to be very harmful for the body and very, very dangerous. So been doing a lot of shielding for that.
Mm-hmm.
And the liquid golden plasma light bodysuit is for that. Then we go into a translation system. So a brand new technology that just has been birthed in the last few months is a translation system that translates harmful electromagnetic frequency that is designed to deplete your system, energetic, mental, physical, spiritual, the whole thing, and manipulate our DNA, manipulate different parts of us, and it's meant to constrain your oxygen levels and everything. So all this does is turns that frequency that humans don't have the immunity for, it puts it through a translation layer. There's quite a few different layers to it. And it becomes a springboard generator for our systems. It is able to activate your clairsenses and telepathy instead of taking it away, which is what that is originally designed for.
Yes.
And also starts regenerating your system, re-architecting the biocircuitry of your brain and the meridians. And so instead, there's certain codes and certain geometries that bring coherence into your system. Beautiful. And then we're going to go into shielding. Shielding is very important as far as cloaking shielding, is being able to cloak your consciousness, cloak your work, cloak your names, cloak your bank accounts, cloak your social media posts, things like that. All the energies that shouldn't be looking at you, great. Let's just it's just kind of like the Harry Potter cloak. You know, you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Beautiful. So after all of that, then we're going to go into the light body activations. So we made room and protected and got fully ready for a light body activation. So that's all the new earth coding. That's the 5D consciousness dispensations. Any questions before I dive into that?
Yeah, actually, thank you. So sweet. When you were talking about the dark forces and programming, I know that since birth, we've been put into this space and says, oh, this is a cat. Oh, this is a table. Oh, this is, so that's a shared reality that we have. And yet there are experiences that come through that, as you said, can be dark forces. So for instance, a lot of like binging on watching Netflix or social media or you know, all these like fearful posts or things that, you know, other people might consider misinformation, where it's like, it's simply other people expressing their opinion. And what happens with all of this media is that you actually start calcifying your pineal gland. And for me, reactivating a code or opening our DNA or reprogramming our DNA has a lot to do with decalcifying the pineal gland. So yeah, I know that the session that I did with you on Tuesday, which I'd like to dive into a little bit more later, is that really became present for me. Was, okay, how can we decalcify the pineal gland? How can we share with others how to do that? And I know that your process is definitely one of them.
Thank you. Yes, actually, we do work on decalcifying the pineal gland and the hypothalamus, the thymus, and all the different parts of our electrical grid on the inside. Actually, love that you brought that up, talking about dark forces and talking about media and all of that. So like I said earlier, everything's really subscription based, and dark forces only can touch you when there's a resonance frequency inside of you that has a match. which is why it's really important to have a daily practice, which is why, just like how we wash our hands all the time, you know, if you don't wash your hands, you're just going to have just germs everywhere, and it just adds up, and you can get cold, you can get, you know, it just gets messy.
Yeah.
Same thing with energetics as well. You need to clean yourself also. Maybe, you know, don't lick the railing, you know? So being aware of what you're subscribing to,
Right.
and having discernment is really, really important. And also knowing that there's a trap here when it comes to the dark force conversation. Yes, there's dark forces. Yes, there's a light side. And the cosmic trap usually is the whole duality. It's like, he did it, she did it, and we're the victims because they did it. And then that just already creates more separation, more fragmentation from unity consciousness. And since this is a holographic video game, this is how I actually explain it. Since we're in a holographic video game, this is all for our growth. This is for us. Even those guys that are really tearing stuff up, and it's really, really difficult to see, and it breaks my heart even too. I have a human side, has children, I have empathy, and I really feel for people. And also, my higher self knows that this is a holographic video game, and this is all for our growth as well. So you got to know when to wear each hat, and you got to know when to not buy into duality too much, because it can create a really false light trap. And then you're actually going to call more of it into you, because when you have that anger, that resentment, and that like, oh, I can't believe that president did that, I can't believe that he made that, it's just like, yes, well, we need to be more solutionary, and we need to be more centered and more neutral. And from a neutral space, all miracles and all magic is truly birthed from. Otherwise, we're in a state of reaction, and reaction creates more negative timelines. And let's say that, okay, maybe negative is subjective. How about say more lessons to learn around what you're triggered by?
Yes, understood.
Cool. Any other questions before I go into light body activations?
Yeah, please share that with us.
Okay, beautiful. So the light body activation sequence is a series of activations to bring higher intelligence into every part of our body, mind, spirit. And we first begin to work with the golden codes are actually the Kathara grid, the crystalline ascending spirals, Christ consciousness. These are the new frequencies of the golden age. So I work with this and a couple other geometries, and we code them into these beautiful golden spirals that spiral up. And as they spiral up, we bring them first down in through the crown, and we start rewiring and cleaning and clearing and restructuring, balancing and fusing and doing all these activations first on the limbic system. And then we balance the left and right hemisphere of the brain. And then we work on the cranial brain, and then we work on the spine. The midline the midline is one of the most important things to always stay in. This is the vessel of your I am presence. This is the vessel of your sovereignty. It's very, very important. So your sovereignty and staying in that and turning the juice all the way up in that. Then we go into your chakra systems, major and minor. And then we go into your meridians and going into all of your power centers. And we're coding all those frequencies in there. Then we're going to go into all of the cells, and then we're going to go into the chromosomes, the electrons, the protons, the photons, the DNA, RNA, and the proteins that hold the DNA. And then we were coding and restructuring and balancing, and then we bring in the Diamond Sun DNA activation, more Christ codes. And then after that, we're going to go into the brain, start rewiring the brain and making room for the divine higher mind activations. This is a diamond higher mind, bodhisattvic mind activation designed to bring in divine awareness, soul awareness, divine grace, and just all those embodiments of higher perspective, but bringing them into the body template to settle in and bring absolute ease and stillness, wisdom, sovereignty. And then after that, we go into a divine mother activation, which is all new. This is designed to recode the first 7 years of your life and first 7 years of all other lifetimes. And the first 7 years are the most imprintable for your actions and reactions. This is the hard wiring of humans, is the first 7 years, from conception to 7. So from the moment that you were incarnated, and then you're in utero, and then to 7, wow, right? You can imagine, I know that we've all had a childhood, and it's been beautiful and insane, and we're still reacting from it, and we're still healing from it, no matter how many sessions we tend to do. So we're going into those zones, holding ourselves within those timelines, and then adding a transmission of wisdom and understanding of why separation happens the way it does, and filling it up with the divine mother love. So that's a whole beautiful wormhole of its own. And then we go into some, here's everyone's favorite. We do Saint Germain activation. This is the quintessence of your soul extraction process. What are we extracting, and where are we putting it? Back into you. So the whole purpose is to activate more of who you are. So if we can go into your relationship with the world, your relationship with yourself, and all geometries of life and frequencies and touch and sound, your relationship to all of that are different fractal extractions of your soul's essence. And taking that back in, for you to be able to ingest that into your spirit, your soul, your mind, body, the whole thing, and being able to magnify it by 555, which is the whole thing I get to talk about in a little bit. 555 is very, very, very important, a big part of this golden codes. And then we regrid and seal up. So that is the process of golden codes. And I have new activations depending on what group I'm working on or which client I'm working on. We have future self activations and constantly new ones that are just re-emerging.
Oh, wow. That's, first of all, thank you. Thank you for being of service. Thank you for bringing this forward and offering your gift to the world. I really was so excited that we got to drop in together and actually have a private session on Tuesday. And the way that I've felt since then, it's literally so much has changed. My perspective on certain things, even noticing certain behaviors or patterns start to come up and be like, nope, not going to go there. Or like pick up the phone and like, nope, going to put it down. Going to walk in nature, going to hang out with my son, play Legos and build pyramids with him, you know, and really getting in a place of, I was already cultivating my self practices. And now I know that that is like the key essential piece. And I feel transformed. I can't explain it any other way. I was speaking with another person yesterday, and she's like, that's exactly how I explain Sandy's work, is indescribable. So later, I would love for you to make this offering to the community and share with them how they can have their own private session with you. And I highly recommend doing this. In fact, I'm going to have a second one with her, and I've offered one to my husband. And do you work with children as well?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Raising,
there's a lot of people that are actually afraid about working with children. And there's like a big no-no about that. And it's very important to work on your children. And especially when you have that. But you know what? Here's the little secret to working on children is working on the parents, because that's where all of their stuff is in their parents. But yes, I work on how I actually got into this is I started working on my children because they were having some serious issues and freakouts, like manic freakout screaming. And the first time that I was able to actually do a healing, it went from 0 to a completely different story in 1 second. And I was like, what just happened? And and then I kept doing it, and then I did it on my daughter, and then I did it on my son again. And now when my son has anything going on with him, he's like, Mommy, do healing now, please.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. The children, it's so important. And also too, we've really come to having a daily practice together, where even just sitting down at the table and blessing our food and taking deep breaths together and holding hands, and I introduced my tuning forks to Cadence years ago, and he loves playing with them. He really loves sound vibrations and frequencies. Andrew just purchased a hung drum when we were in Bali, and Cadence loves playing it. And he's so empathic and intuitive already. And literally, he says things to me like, I said, I'm sorry for doing something to him. And he's like, it's okay, Mom. I did it to you when I was your mom. Or I asked him once, what do you remember from Egypt? And he's like, Dad was in Egypt. He was in the city, and he was blasting pyramids off in outer space. And you were in the dark, but you met this good monster, which is his word for unexplainable being. And you met a good monster, and you became best friends, and you made good monster human babies. And then you built things like Legos, And he basically explained that Anunnaki creation story of the other beings, Pleiadians, however, coming to Earth and impregnating human women and building the pyramids and megalithic structures around the planet to create this power grid. So anyhow,
Wow.
the point is that he's so in tune with his past lives already. And what happens is when children get to a certain age and they start going to school and they start becoming indoctrinated and they start getting these they start programming, that it's things like that, memories like that aren't acceptable. I had a parent teacher conference with his teacher once and said, I'd really like it if you encourage him. If he starts speaking like he's an old man from the 60s, please encourage that, because I want him to remember. I want him to tap into all of his timelines and be empowered by all of the tools, all of his capabilities that he has. So can you speak a little more to that and how the recoding can actually tap into past lives and pull, some of us remember being burned at the stake for our gifts and being powerful women of magic. And we have to get over the fear of that not happening in this lifetime. So how can the golden codes reprogram something like that, for instance?
Okay, so when it comes to human limitations and those type of trauma imprints, they're held in spider webs is how I see them. Okay, so we have, let's say there's feminine trauma, being burned at the stake, not being able to use your voice. There's that. Okay, so feminine wounding might be controlled by attachment. Attachment might be controlled by heart wounding. Heart wounding might be the root of that could be lack and scarcity. Lack and scarcity might be dark mother and dark father. So, and not in that order necessarily, but they're all intertwined and holding each other in place. Yeah. And also certain things are supposed to open up, certain things that are supposed to open up at the right time, because this is kind of like a, every year, this is like a lotus flower. We open up a new part of ourselves. So we can't just push the button and everything's cleared all at once. It doesn't work like that. We're meant to learn stuff. But if we are going to be going into the recoding of your reality process and to address what you asked, the reason why Golden Codes was created was because I used to go to so many healers and so many psychics and so many masters of different kinds, like you name it, all the things, all the medicine ceremonies, all the multidimensional healers. And I went and they would be like, cool, let's go into this one lifetime, or let's go into this core wound. I'm like, can we do more? I mean, I got a lot to do here. I got this book here. I got a
stack of papers.
I mean, shouldn't this be quantum? What's going on? And my friend was in big trouble, and I needed to help her get out of a really, really dangerous relationship. It was really bad for her, and she could not get out. It was 2 years. She was stuck in it, and she's got so much history with this guy, ancient Egyptian intensity, and false twin too. This whole story, right? And so she was clearing after clearing after clearing, and I know all of you guys know the story. I already tried to clear that. Oh, I already did clear that. I got rid of my mother wounds, and then it's always deeper and deeper and deeper, right? So finally, Golden Codes was channeling on the spot. I was like, okay, no, we're getting to this today. All right, let's go through all the things you're afraid of. Let's go through all the things that you're triggered by. And I was like, are you ready to let this go? She's like, well, I don't know. You know, I kind of feel guilty. I'm like, great, guilt. And she's like, well, I don't know if I'm like, great, you're, you know, and then we literally, it was just coded in that moment. And so when you do that, you have to go through everything, all of it. It's like, we'll name every single entity that you would consider not as their best friend. Let's put those on a list. Okay, let's clear all of that. Let's put that library. Great. Let's put in all the fears. Fear of being seen, fear of not being seen, fear of using your voice, fear of not using your voice. That can tune into that feminine wounding timeline. That could be the crucifixion timeline. That tunes into the reversal timelines. There's also things called reversal time matrices. Phantom time matrices where you're on completely a false timeline. So all of these can be adding up on top of each other, and we're wondering why that one shaman, those 3 women that we went to, didn't really work. Because there's so much more than just vacuuming over. It's like there's so many little tiny brushes and little tools that we need. It's like we have to be so efficient because we're such multidimensional beings. We have so many footprints from all these different library systems that we've been attached to. Does that make some sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Okay, cool.
Yes, indeed. I actually had an Akashic reading record with a woman that I met from the Pyramids of Chi in Bali. Fabulous woman. She's so beautiful. Her name is Marie. And I'll actually put a little plug for her under our video later. I always like to have a little bibliography of whatever we do, right? Make reference to.
That's
anyhow,
right.
One of the things that she really does is tap into your Akashic records personally and like use your full name and really she does this from afar as well. But what she does is she actually comes up with these visualizations and she starts just explaining what's coming to her, these images that are coming to her. And so much of the images that she received in our reading together had a lot to do with pyramids, pyramidal power, simply because it's just this, how can I explain? I was going to go to Egypt before all of this occurred. I literally would have come home from Egypt about 3 days ago. And so that was in my consciousness, of course. And there was also timelines attached to that from past lives. But there's also so much power in the actual image of the pyramid. When you're doing your golden cold channelings, do you have specific images that come to mind? Like, I love the golden light plasma suit. Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
They do. So sometimes, especially when I'm talking with a client before we do our session and they're talking about what they're triggered by or feel limited by, I'll have some things come up where I'm like, oh, well, yeah, you were a king and then you were taken over by a village and then that person was your assassin. Like sometimes I have that come up. That is not my specialty though. That is not my signature. Right. My signature is to not go into the story at all because the story still rehooks us into it and creates more fantasy around it. It brings it life. Yeah. And for me, there's like past life regression experts that just can go for days talking about it. And it's actually really, really cool. But my whole thing is about getting as much as possible, like into the new story. So we're not constantly living in the past. Right. And what I do focus more on with the channelings are the solutions and all the technologies. I'm an energetic technologist. So I very much nerd out and can fantasize and be very expressive when it comes to the technologies that are here as leverage of light for our benefit.
Energetic technologist. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yes, energetic technologist, that means that I channel higher dimensional technologies from other planets, systems. Andromeda and Arcturus are very notorious for being really good with technologies and systems and architecture, and there's a lot of architecture codes, and so I work with them a lot on that. I have a lot of other star systems that help me with different things, but mainly for that, my technologies come from that. And when I see a problem where it feels like, oh my God, there's a wall, and I have a motto, it's called, when you see a wall, draw a door. So I literally
Yes,
draw doors.
I love it. Yes, yes,
You
please.
know what,
Thank you.
actually, you know what inspired me with do you know what inspired me to come up with that line?
What?
Remember the movie Beetlejuice?
Yes, I love Beetlejuice.
Right?
Oh
So
yeah, they drew a door.
that's like,
It totally did.
it's like draw a door.
I love it.
It stuck with me, and
Right?
that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
When I was lying down and I felt so entrapped by this 5G concept, and I'm like, oh, I have to spend like so much money on all these like 5G technology. I have to constantly shove these like supplements down my throat, and then I'm like, I'm gonna have to be Bubble Boy, like living this reality, like Bubble Boy, walking around,
Totally.
and everyone's fighting over what technologies are real, what technologies aren't.
Yes. Yes. Yes, totally. Yeah.
It's just so much more efficient to have your own energetic technology system. And there's different, they're called bionic systems, bioenergetic systems. Just like how you can have a prosthetic leg when you, let's say you get amputated and you need more support. I'm creating more extra systems. So let's say if you have more of an energetic weak heart, or if your brain needs a little bit of a boost, I add just a little extra bionic systems, and your higher self gets to choose if that's right for you. And I can assure you it's all clean coding. There's no weird implants or anything like that. So just want to make sure that's clear.
Totally clear. I felt that during our session. It was so pure and so of the highest frequency and vibration. I felt so light afterwards. It was really incredible. Since you brought up technologies and you said the word earlier, 5G, and we're moving from 3D into 5D, and we're moving from 4G into 5G, and
isn't that interesting?
There's a connection there, right? And you and I had a brief conversation, and I know that you already started a video with Joyous about this. Can you expand a little bit on the idea of how 5G might actually assist us to getting to 5D?
It can. It is here for a reason. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Yes, we understand the shadow aspect of it, but I'm not here to talk about that. I am here to be fully solutionary.
Yes. And
I do believe there's a correlation to 5G and 5D. It's really, really interesting. Both are frequencies that we're not fully acclimated to. Are we fully 5D embodied? Maybe some of the times. The thing is all 5G is a frequency that our systems cannot, there's not a matching point. It doesn't really work. And also, like, imagine you took someone, like a regular person in 3D consciousness, and just put a 5D chip in them. What would happen?
Right.
You would go into system overload. That's like me injecting 10 golden code sessions into someone and just be like, here.
Wow.
Your system would fry.
Overload. Yeah.
Fully, physically, mentally, spiritually, the whole thing. You would combust. Just like having an over detox system. There's no room for you to acclimatize. So going deeper into how can this actually happen? Well, if we can transmute the frequency, because all those 5G towers, it's awful, but what if we could use it for our benefit? What if we can use it? I was like, great, that's my antenna now. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that energy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use that to empower myself and to empower others, and it can speed up our awakening process.
Yes.
And in a safe way, not like turn up the juice so much where you're frying anyone's system, but you can absolutely empower people's power centers. There'll probably be a lot more spontaneous Kundalini awakenings, all sorts of things like that.
Yes. Oh, very good point. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do appreciate that. And it is something that with what's happening right now and us needing to stay home and such, there are so many Kundalini awakenings already occurring. And people who may have been prepared for them, people who may have not been prepared for them. I certainly had a Kundalini awakening experience almost 15 years ago. I won't go into the story right now. And what occurred then just planted the seed for what happened to me now. And in the last month, it's like everything became more clear. My purpose and my mission in life became clear. I wasn't just wading through the pool anymore. Like, I know what my heart's desire is and what I'm truly put on this planet to do, these videos being one of them.
Yes.
And honestly, opening the channel to allow Anistara, which is the name that I've given or that I've received for these channels, for these transmissions, for this information coming in, whether it's my higher self or my connection to source or the name of my unborn daughter. Like, it's been a name that's been with me for 15 years now. And as I'm coming closer to my higher self and this Kundalini awakening is becoming more and more embodied in my body, and the energy of Anistara is coming and entering into Candace more and more daily. And my session with you was just like, it was just like the next step, essentially. So have you witnessed results, in essence, of people who have come to you wherever they are in their awakening process and say, oh my gosh, I'm so in tune with my higher self, or oh, I suddenly became psychic, or what are some of the results? What are some of the benefits that people have come back to you with?
I'm happy that you asked that. Okay,
Okay.
this is like full range. You guys are going to get a kick out of this. Okay, so I have anywhere from oracles, psychic healers, different masters, to CEOs, to doctors, to just everyone around the board. And okay, so when I work with oracles and psychics, it is designed to open up all your abilities and opening up all of your clairsenses and crystallizing your connection with your true self even deeper, because this is designed to activate your organic signature. This is designed for you to awaken, remember, and restore who you truly are, your I am presence, your sovereignty. That is the point. And so when it comes to your abilities, they tend to crystallize. They tend to be more precise because there's no other interference and false light programs and calcifications getting in the way, creating other filtration systems of nonsense. Beautiful. So that is for that. That's like the intuitive crew. And actually, one more thing to add to that, there's a lot of healers that come to me because they're getting attacked. And so a big thing that I do is a lot of people come who are possessed, have darkness, they're getting attacked, they're getting followed, rather physically or spiritually. And I've seen a lot of stuff, and I've had someone who had a curse, a really dark curse. I don't think I'm going to name the curse right now, just to be respectful. Okay. But the curse is kind of like a spiritual plague, and it can affect people on a physical level. You actually physically die from it. So we had a friend who was physically dying I say we because it's not me. I have a whole team here. We had a friend who was in France, and he was dying. He had a curse, and he had probably not much. He was coughing up blood, and did an emergency session on him, and then he was out 2 days later. Did a lot of emergency sessions when it came to people having heart attacks, surgeries, forest fires, all sorts of things like that. A lot of also legal issues, people who have legal issues, court cases, battles, people in jail, people almost facing jail, being followed by the government. Only if you're wrongfully accused will I help you. Or if it's a ridiculous case, I'll definitely help you. And usually it's unfair. So I've had someone who was facing 2 life prison sentences, a mother of 2. And that was a really, really sad case. And I talked to my 2 oracle friends, and I was like, what do you think about this case? And they're like, no way. that person's screwed. And I was like, screwed? And they were like, yeah, totally karmically. And I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, wow, okay. And then I really almost like let it go. And then I still, like, my heart was like still beating for this person. And it said,
Yeah.
well, you can at least try, and we could call in a miracle. So we did about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, not even with her on the phone, but it was asked for.
Uh-huh.
And so got higher self permission, and she was out in 2 days. Charges fully dropped.
Yes.
Never had to go to court again.
Ah.
So anywhere from, there's some people have money issues to abundance, and they move out of stagnancy. I'm not saying that I'm gonna all of a sudden wave a wand and you're gonna be a millionaire the next day, but
Right.
I've had a lot of a lot of good wins on that, good
Awesome.
times.
Yes. We
So
love that.
it's all over the board. So rather it's activating the next part of your life. I mean, some people just need divine clarity and they're just lost or stagnant. Some people are like, I just can't break free. I
Yeah.
feel like I've been doing this for a long time, or I'm afraid to step into who I am, or I can't get out of this. I'm a breakup doctor. I help people get out of abusive relationships. I've also been able to help people find love, but I seem to
Oh.
be the breakup doctor, I'm sorry to say.
Oh. Well, actually, that it was going to lead to my next question. Really, was
Okay.
you mentioned before with the healings, like if you work on the parent, then by happenstance the children receive the healing in essence as well.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
do you feel it's the same way in relationships, like romantic relationships or marriages, or would you recommend that both people in the
It's
partnership
always
go?
better when both are doing it.
Mhm.
Always. Now,
Okay.
when Joyce and I were going through a really rough time, my beloved, my twin flame, he's actually my twin flame, and we were in the flames. We were in it.
Oh, yeah,
A year and a half or 2 years of hell. That, like,
yeah.
what? I thought this was a fairy tale.
What
And
happened?
so I was like trapped. What do I do? And this is before like a lot of my like strong abilities came in and my empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that I had to take responsibility for everything that I ever attracted. No matter what he did or anyone ever did or
Right.
whatever the story, I had to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
So first, since he was stuck in his reality and still, he's 6 years younger than me, and so he was still going through whatever he's going through, and I was kind of like, hey, I got 2 kids, let's. So I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna focus on me, and hopefully that neediness of me needing him to be something else will change. So if my frequency goes up, like if someone's stock goes up, like, oh my God, gold is going way up. Don't you want to be part of that party?
Right. Yes.
So I had to make my party way better, and I had to do it for me, not just
Yeah.
for him, but that
Yeah.
would affect everything.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
so the more that my frequency rose, and all these false light timelines, all these like dark mother programming and all this stuff, because then you you can manipulate, you're trying to control your reality because your beloved's not being the dude he needs to be, and also in work life and in every part of life. So when I actually fully took ownership, man, did my life change.
Ah.
So not only was he like, whoa, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm interested. Something's working. You're not
Yeah.
reacting like you usually do. So it's all of a sudden like that
Yeah.
holographic video game that I told you about.
Right.
That mirror reflection of a higher frequency needs a new face. It needs a
Uh-huh.
new reflection that has a resonance match. And I was like, holy shit, this really works. So like, I went crazy on that. And
I love it.
my God, when
Yes.
he snapped out of it, he like literally broke out of it like
Uh-huh.
a baby dragon being born. Like,
Ah!
I'm like, there you are. And then we both started going deeper and doing the work
Yeah.
together. And
Yeah.
anytime that like we get into a tiff, like anyone does, or like an argument, we have to like just stop and be like, okay,
Right.
what's this in me?
Yeah.
What is that in you? And so over time, as him and I have grown and gone into ourselves more, our children too, how much more presence and how much less anger and reactiveness our children have, and how much more energy do we have for our kids.
Uh-huh.
So when it's about kids, it's so important to do the work together.
Yeah.
And you know, it's really important if you want a beloved or a kid to change, you know, there's always a beautiful invitation you can give, but you can never really force anyone. You can never push on that, because then you're going to get that karmic slap of, hey, you're trying to control your reality. Here is a karmic timeline that expresses that.
I love that. Hey, I'm not sure if it's just me or everybody else on the call, but your sound just changed, like maybe a minute ago.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to fiddle with your microphone or anything for just a second and say test. So, wow. Well, since that's happening, I'm going to just take a moment and share with all of you my experience with Sandy. I love this woman. I've always loved her. And when I approached her asking if she wanted to be a part of the call this week, she's like, yeah, and let's have a session so that you can experience it. And I said, yes, please. And one of the things that really, first of all of it resonated with me. All of it was just so magical, and I can feel your priestess energy. I can feel your magic, and you were literally a magician going in and just like pulling cords and cutting them and like showering with me with golden light and like looking at that web, as you said earlier, and like just taking little pieces and shifting them around. And it was almost like you were a psychic surgeon of sorts. And as I said before, I just feel transformed. I feel so complete and loving. And I had the most beautiful day with Cadence yesterday. Andrew and I have been taking, you know, we give each other 24 hours a week. Like last night or 2 days ago, I gave him a 24-hour period where he doesn't have to be dad. I take all the responsibilities. And then he does that for me all the way through my call so that I can be with myself last night and channel and read and write, and then wake up this morning and get a massage and take a walk and like really just be in my own energy. And we've done it before, but this time somehow it just felt different. So I'm really looking forward to having a second session with you. I really would like everyone to have this experience. So this question is a two-parter, because you mentioned 555 earlier, and I have a theory, or one part of my mission is not to step over anything and leave something behind. So that's a piece I want to pick up right now, because you said it's really important. 555 has been a number that's been important for my Andrew and myself for many years now. We call it our number of manifestation. Whenever we want to create something, buy our house, make our baby, whatever it is, we'll bring in 555. I'll write it down, or I'll write it on the mirror. I'll put it in my little, blessing basket on the altar. And also I want to mention 1111, because I know that you've been with us during one of our 1111 Galactivation gatherings. And this year specifically is our 11th annual 1111. And I'm taking it global. Obviously, it was already being visioned in September as a global event where multiple 1111 gatherings around the planet can tune in together and we can live stream together. And now, in the state of the world that we're in, this is going to be a regular thing now. Hopefully, we'll still be able to gather in big gatherings as well and still telecast. But 1111 has been this like gateway, this portal for prayer, for connection to one. And it has been also a number of manifestation, because when we gather together on 1111, at 1111, we have a ritual where we come together and we pray for ourselves, our family, our community, and the world. And whatever you pray for, it happens. It happens because we gather together and lift that prayer up into the universe and we receive it. So just want to dive in just a little bit of pieces on numerology, and then how we can get a hold of you and how people can receive your offering.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's so awesome. I had no idea that you had a deep connection with the 555. So 555 for me has nothing to do with Metatron within my specific geometry that I work with. So Joyce and I have been doing actually a lot of energetic work together towards end of last year. And we were driving back to this beautiful hot springs on the way home. And we had quite a few big projects, a lot of money on the line, a lot of things going on. And we were also getting ready for this move. And all of a sudden we started seeing 555. And we're like, cool, 555. And then 555. And then 555. Okay, we're on the road. This has happened within 15 minutes. There was 455. And then I was like, watch, Joyous. There's going to be one more 555, and then we're in the butter zone. And he's like, it's funny you say that. The address I'm looking at for us to maybe check out a house in Austin, it says 555 5th Street. I was just like, what? And I was just like,
divisible by 11.
Exactly. And so that was cool. And then I talked to this amazing intuitive that I love her so much. She's so good. Yeah. I'll put her in the comments below. She's so awesome. And I was like, okay, I get what 555 is, but what is it for me, do you think? Because like, what do you see? And she was just like, you tapped into something that is really rare and is really hard to do. It's a specific field code. It's a specific realm where no time, space, and continuum has any control over this. So it is pure manifestation, pure magic, and you can apply this to all of your healing and all of your manifestation ceremonies and everything that you do. So every time that I do golden codes, I place everyone in a 555 grid field portal and wrap you in these golden fibers. And each fiber represents your intentions of what you're letting go and what you're bringing in. And so, cool. After that reading, I was like, okay, cool. If I had like $1 for every time the psychic told me that I hit the jackpot with some coding, like I'd be a quadrillionaire by now. Which I did in many ways, but seriously. So the next morning, I used the 555 grid field portal, and that day, all this money came in. It was crazy. Like, I sold my car for all that I asked for it. This other order with a whole bunch of other money came in, like a ton of money, and a ton of like, people were like, the phone was ringing like, hey, I want it right now. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. And I was like, this is dope. And I started actually working with the 555 grid field portal from then on. Yeah. And now it's a part of pretty much my almost everyday quantum tune-up to keep me in alignment.
I love that. Thank you. Oh. Well, darling, would you like to tell us how we can find you, websites, platforms, videos?
Yes. My website is goldencodes.love. Yes, and I will be putting in the comments below the website, anything that I talked about so you can figure it out. Also made a 5G video with my beloved Joyous talking about the 3D perspectives and the 5D perspectives, and solutions is really what it's about. And we're not focusing on doom and gloom and who did it and how, so there's no density in it. Just very informative, and also lists what kind of supplements and technologies you can take if you are more prone. If you're needing more of the 3D support and that's what makes you feel really good, that's totally okay. So we have that in there. So I'll put that in the comments below. And if there's anything else that you need, or if you actually just want to ask me something, please reach out to me, or you can reach out on the comments below this thread, and let's just create a little community of this right now. So thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so grateful to have you, sister. It's been such a blessing. I'm really, really just thrilled with the work that you're doing in the world. I'm really looking forward to experiencing more of it, and also tuning in, tapping in other realms too. So with 11/11 and connecting golden codes with the unification celebration on 11/11, and
doing it. I had one last thing I wanted to say.
Oh, yes, please. And I wanted to ask you, did you want to give us a little mini itty bitty tune up to close the call?
Well, let me see, possibly. I have a little bit of battery left. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I want to make sure it doesn't die soon, so that would be kind of awkward. But so besides that, I offer personal sessions and packages over the phone. I also am going to be doing videos video Zooms like this, but do a Golden Codes event online, and they're more affordable for people who are, I mean, let's just face it, we're in the middle of a pandemic, money's a little bit tight, so I want to do something where we can all be in one room and still get all the activations and the work done.
Yeah.
Also, just to plug in, thought about this today of doing a medicine optional ceremony for where everyone does it in their separate homes and we all go in together, and I'm going to do a full Golden Codes ceremony. Joyce will be hosting with me and doing breath work exercise before, sound healing, the whole thing. So it'll be the full Monty with all the activations, including the future self activation.
Awesome. Perfect. Love that. Thank you.
Joyce just brought me a charger because he must have been listening from downstairs.
Thank you, Joyce. How joyously helpful of you.
I guess.
So let you do that. Well, I just take a moment to, it's funny, I've never actually mentioned on any of these videos, this is number 5, week 5, but I've never mentioned my own email address. So it's Anistara1111 at Gmail, ANISTARA 1111 at Gmail. If you have any questions or you want to connect or you feel called to make your offering on the weekly call, we do it every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And next week, I have a special guest, Kumara Fleur, one of my dearest friends, Kumara. She's actually my massage therapist. She's been working on me for years. And God bless her, she's one of my pod. Like, we have a little pod of friends that are okay to come over right now. And she just gave me some body work today. And what we came up with together is we'll be talking about healthy living essentials. She is a mistress of medicine and plant allies, massage, sound therapy, aromatherapy. She just knows so much. She's totally intuitive, naturopathic doctor. She just knows so much. And we are in these 3D human bodies for this time. So we need to learn how to take care of them, how to make sure our immune systems are very strong. And if any of us were to be affected by this, then we would have ways to help you naturally get through it. So that's going to be our topic next week, Healthy Living Essentials with Kumara. So please join us. And Sandy, I'm going to let you close out the call if you'd like. We've got 10 minutes if you want.
Okay, beautiful. So we're just gonna do an realignment to get us back into our primordial space so we can be in creator consciousness. Okay, so just everyone close your eyes, get comfortable. You can lie down, sit down, just as long as your body feels really, really cozy right now. Okay, beautiful. Calling Holy Mother, Holy Father, Supreme Source, Holy Angelic Realms, star beings and councils of light, ancestors, elementals.
Let's hang.
And the white winged lions and the white buffalo, calling all of you in now, ascended masters, beloveds coming through. Everyone here chiming in this moment, or rather on recording or live in this moment, asking all of you to ask for your higher self's permission to step into a 555 grid field portal architected by the Andromedan councils here for instant manifestation, divine alignment, wholeness, divine awareness, supreme clarity, abundance consciousness. Beautiful. Placing us in healing chambers of light with the golden tubes of the feet crystalliny beam the crown, bringing our frequency and vibration up as high as we can hold with the IVs of light into each and one of our arms, bringing the crystalline frequencies up highest that we can hold at this time. Beautiful. And bringing in the anesthesia cashmere lavender mist, designed to soften our minds and soften all of the edges in our body. Softening and surrendering into your primordial space, your womb of no thing, where all creation, all magic is birthed from constantly in every moment, and all of your energetic needs are being taken care of now. No thoughts, no judgment, be neutral. No thoughts, no judgment, be neutral. That's it. And asking now the Holy Mother, Holy Father to please pull up all lower astral energies and frequencies. Black holes, wormholes, dark energy, dark frequencies, and dark matter, and the lists of all the courts and contracts and so on. All of the negative alien agendas and all the fear programmings, and going into the lists of all the core wounding today, pulling up all fear and all control, all separation, all tension, and most importantly, pulling up collective consciousness that has been stagnating and creating calcification inside of our subconscious in our mind and our biological fields, and the muscle memories and the fibers of our consciousness now. Asking to pull all of these frequencies and energies up. And when we're ready, just take a deep breath. And pushing it out right out the feet and dissolving all now. Dissolving through the power centers. Dissolving through. Curatora Liliani in Carapiki Satere Dula Bakum Turbotati Terete de Omani in Caribilia. Pulling up from the negative subconscious programming, pulling up all the muscle memory frequencies, starting to dissolve out now. EMDR coming through, vibrating, shaking all this energy out, feeling the frequency of 999, shaking all up into completion to dissolve out all fragmentation frequencies that are holding these energies in place, dissolving all now. Shielding our systems and bodies now. Aqua wash. Bringing in the golden seal and filling all cracks, tears, leaks, and holes with honey elixir. And bringing in the liquid ascending golden spirals of the Cathari Recode to rewire our limbic systems first. Hypothalamus, thymus, pituitary and pineal gland. Cleaning and clearing, restructuring and balancing now. Crystallizing, refining to its greatest excellence of flexion, please. Functioning at its highest, most crystalline embodiment as possible. Going into the left and right hemisphere of the brain now. Balancing and harmonizing. The left and right hemisphere, feminine and masculine, bringing to divine balance. Heroes Gamos, energies running through us, bringing us into divine balance and tranquility. Going into the cranial brain, resetting the cranial brain, dissolving all fight or flight frequencies and energies that can be dissolved now. Cleansing and clearing the spine, integrating and strengthening now. Most importantly, going into our midline, our core, the vessel of our I am presence, the vessel of our sovereignty, When we're in this space, we are home, always. And there's nothing or no one or anything can get into it when we are in this space. So turn up that juice and turn up the dial of your core, that core that shines from the holy heavens down to the crystalline core of the earth, that core right inside of you, that energy, just turn it up with your frequency, your song, your smell, your sound. That's right, all the way up. And shine from there. Now going into all of your cells, all of your meridians, chakra systems, power centers, cleaning and clearing, restructuring and balancing, activating and strengthening, and empowering now as high, as deep, and as potent as we can go in this moment. Beautiful. Bringing in the magenta tones from the 15th dimension, God's love activation into all of these power centers, as much as you can hold, as deep as you can breathe this in, as much as you feel you would deserve. And you feel you can't deserve, take that bubble and bring out that golden needle and pop it right in the center, and keep going and loving yourself more, and keep bringing this light in and inhaling it as deep as you can. Beautiful. Now going into all of your electrons, protons, photons, DNA, RNA, original chromosomes, and genome, ready to recode and cleanse and clear, restructure and balance. Strengthen and infuse with the crystalline ascending spirals now. Bringing in the diamond sun DNA activation, activating now. Restructuring the chambers of the mind, cleansing the mind, bringing in divine awareness and grace. Divine knowing, divine grace, peace, serenity, wholeness, joy. Self-love frequencies emanating all around inside of you now. Regridding ourselves to the crystalline grids and the holy new earth grid timelines and frequencies and energies now. Pearl codes and about to seal up. Shatur bakantaralera ture kene inkare pikiesa tara alia bakunguruanta enzeta ikalami onkralar. Siatara elion marure tulua bakanturuatati antaralaria yambashu. Holding us in this neutral space, divine love. Forgiving, releasing, surrendering to this wholeness that you are, your I am presence, your frequency is so pure, so beautiful. Stay in this, feed this. She and he is hungry for more of you, more of your beauty, more of your true radiance, more of your organic signature. Crystallize further. Please keep creating, keep channeling, keep writing, keep leading, keep loving, love each other. Beautiful. Ready to start sailing up and grounding down. We are complete. It's done, it's done, it's done. A little bit of oxytocin, serotonin, a little dopamine in your brain, a little injection. We are complete.
Oh, it is done, it is done, it is done. Thank you.
So it is.
Yeah. Bless you, Sandy.
Bless you, Anistara. Candace, I love you. And your family.
So grateful. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we hope to see you next week. Blessed be.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.